Hello everybody, I am Lundus01, host of the Lundus Instructs Us audio podcast. I thank you so much for joining me again here today. Alright, we got some news to cover, of course, as per all of these podcasts. So some quick announcements I kind of want to get out of the way before we begin. I have officially, as of yesterday at around 11 p.m., I resigned from the House of Representatives. I believe I made an announcement on Twitter today that I have officially resigned from the House of Representatives, meaning that I will no longer be in the House of Representatives. I did this in part so I could be a little bit less biased in my podcast, and also because I was offered a job as attorney of the Senate, which, of course, I prefer to being a politician. Politics was fun. I mean, I got a lot done, and I was glad what I got done, and I was glad to unite a lot of Federalists in the House, but I feel it now that I will be better, I could better serve this nation as an attorney. So, with that being said, I'd like to continue. Kind of where we left off yesterday, we were talking about the executive branch and Mitch Matrix's apparent crime. After I brought this up, a lot of sympathizers, a lot of loyalists of AconArtist have been either in my DMs or either, in the House of Representatives just talking to me about that, Mitch Matrix isn't actually a criminal. The two bills came as a package to, impeach the president and impeach the vice president. The two bills came as a package, and this and that and this and that and this and that, right? So that it wasn't actually anything that was like, we weren't actually trying to get Mitch Matrix impeached, but it was a package, right? So, and of course people have been coming my DMs saying that saying I'm too harsh to AconArtist himself is coming my DMs a few times. So but I appreciate all the support that you guys have been giving me. Today I named this episode The War Against the House because I like to say, now that I'm outside of the House, I feel like I have some sort of, I can talk about this. Currently, in my absence, unfortunately, I left a lot a lot to be decided. So, a lot of stuff a lot of roles that need to be filled now that I've left. So, there needs to be a new chairman for the Foreign Affairs Committee. There needs to be a new House Majority Leader, and depending on if my House Majority Whip, that was of course Trey Namikos, gets promoted to Majority Leader, he'll have to fill in the void of Majority Whip. So I apologize to all my fellow colleagues in the House, but I feel like this was the best option for me. So anyway, moving on. So the House of Representatives, in my opinion, is one of the last stands against the AconArtist. I mean, I know I said that this podcast would be completely unbiased, and a lot of people have been kind of slamming me, saying that, if you just keep talking about AconArtist, it's not fair to your unbiased rhetoric. So a lot of people have been telling me, okay, well, if you're so anti-AconArtist, why don't you say some things about Armon Foley? So I kind of want to do that today. As you may know, Armon is a close friend of mine. However, there are some things. Number one, the House of Representatives is currently dead. I'm not going to be like the first person to say that. Of course, loyalists to AconArtist have been saying that forever, and of course, Federalists who are in the House do not want to admit it. But I can safely say that right now, there is nothing happening. We have currently, I believe, 12 resolutions, 12 bills that have been voted on committee and that have passed committee and are just waiting on the House. We have so many Senate bills that are just waiting. We're just waiting for it. My personal Bar on Public Office Act that I wrote about 2 months ago and proposed about a month ago is still in docket. It's still clogged up. It's not going anywhere. So the House has continuously been trying to set up sessions, of course, to little avail. Obviously, if Armon Foley would just host sessions on, I don't know, a Saturday at like 1 p.m., I feel like that would be the best time, but he keeps insisting on making completely weird times and completely, I don't know, just completely like times where no one's on. Like look at this. I believe our first session that he tried to get after the second session where we voted was Monday at 7 p.m. Just recently he tried to do Wednesday 7 p.m. and again Wednesday 7 p.m., which is like probably one of the most, like, a day where no one is available. Of course, we have many representatives that are from many different, I guess, time zones. Oh, sorry about that. I think I just paused the recording. I've been talking for like the last 7 minutes, but I think I just paused the recording. Shit, I don't even know where to begin. Where was I? Okay, anyway, here, I was talking about Armon Foley, right? So, Armon is a good friend of mine. I think everyone knows that by now. And he was, for a time, he has been our only speaker, I believe, since January. He's been our Speaker of the House, and so far he's been doing, I would like to say, a mediocre job. I think a lot of people can agree with me on that. In the short time he's been a speaker, he's been doing some great things. He got the House up and going, very, very decent figure, very good job with that, and he helped me write a few bills of mine that I put through the House. So he was a very good help to me, at least, and he was a good help to a lot of other of my colleagues. But it is sad to see a lot of people slandering him because, the House is inactive. The House is only inactive because we refuse, I believe the House refuses to work with someone such as AconArtist, because AconArtist is not a good president. I believe I've said this a million times. But getting into today's episode, like the real meat, is that there is a war against the House. That is why I've named this episode 4, The War Against the House. AconArtist is in a power struggle right now between his constitutionalist-controlled Senate and our federalist-controlled House. He has like I've been saying in the past 2 episodes, he has a cult-like following, a sort of dictatorial regime that he is building a following of people that will stand with him no matter what. And I kind of want to tell you one more thing, is that as of now, we're getting new information about the Docal census released a few days ago that I talked about last episode. We are getting reports that it was heavily botted, and that now there may be a new census released soon. Of course, AconArtist has denied any botting, even though he got surprisingly a lot more votes in favor than most of his government. I mean, you look at the polls, you see, his government had almost 70% disapproval. So it's kind of baffling to me that something happened. Anyway, the House of Representatives has been making, movements to impeach AconArtist and impeach his vice president. Of course, he does not like this. So right now, he is trying to remove us. He's trying to silence us as much as possible. And there is no law that states that he can add any sort of constitutional, or he can add anyone to the House of Representatives like he can in the Senate. Some other things I want to quickly talk about with the House of Representatives. We had an election recently. I mean, quote-unquote an election. It wasn't an election. There's 12 spots open and only 11 people ran, so by default there was no contest. So, we just declared all of them the winners. That was not something that happened when I was running, I can tell you that. But, let's see here who won. Give me a minute as I find this. Unfortunately, I can't seem to find the list of people who were in office. I guess it got removed. I don't know what the heck happened. There was a form that was released by the government of who got elected, but I guess not. But I can tell you this for certainty, that I don't actually know the exact numbers. I don't know who got elected, to be honest with you, but I know that a lot of Federalists were elected and that we still have the majority in the House of Representatives. So, of course, Mr. AconArtist does not like this, and he is trying to fight it. But whatever. Back to the House of Representatives. Right? The House of Representatives is making strides to get rid of AconArtists. They're making bills that, in essence, are trying to get him out of office. Like, of course, the Bar on Public Office Act, one that I sponsored. Again, the Impeachment of the President Act, which I sponsored. Actually, which I wrote both of them. I didn't sponsor. I wrote both of them and proposed both of them. So, the House of Representatives is also making bills that are helping the nation so very greatly. But his Senate that has been controlling the Senate is uncooperative with us, with the Federalists in the House. So there is, of course, a power struggle. There is AconArtist, and then the one place where freedom is secure, and that is the House of Representatives. Some other things on Armon Foley as a person. I don't want to say that the House of Representatives' inactivity is a direct result of him, but I believe that if he could find better times for the House to meet, that we would be a lot more active, because I know all of the House Representatives, and I know all of our representatives personally, and I know that all of them are not inactive, that they are working hard. They've passed so many great bills, but the thing is just that Armon is making impossible times for them to meet. So, with all of this being said, I kind of want to bring this to a presidential election level. And I want to give some predictions that I have really quickly 4 months even before the next election takes place for the president. If we even have an election in the next 4 months. Actually, that's a good topic. Will we be a dictatorial state in the next 4 months where there is no elections, or will AR just die? And, no one will really care about elections. That's something that remains to be seen. However, let's go under the assumption that Acon has somehow saved the nation and somehow has prevented a dictatorial uprising. I would like to make the prediction that this presidential election coming up will be no different from the one that we just had. Armon Foley will be running, and AconArtist will be running as well. I don't think anyone will get in their way. As of right now, no one seems to really want to run. I feel like it's just this narrative between these two superpowers. It's Armon Foley and his Federalist caucus, and AconArtist and his cult-like following of constitutionalists. So I'm looking forward to the next election. I believe that it's going to be another two-way race between the two individuals I just mentioned. But let's all hope that if Armon wins the next election, or if someone else comes along and wins the next election, they are better than this train wreck of a president we've had. And I'm not saying that to be unbiased or to be biased. I'm saying that as a fact, that the American people need to understand that this president is not a good president, and that we should, as American people, do what is right to remove him from power either, or get him going in the right direction again. And with that, that's all the time I have for today. No guests again. I'm not going to keep making promises, but there's just so much stuff I want to talk about on my own that I've had no time for guests. And unfortunately, the time of when I filmed these recordings, guests are either offline or just at school, because I'm on spring break right now, actually, and a lot of people aren't. So with that, I will wish you all farewell, and God bless you.